The vibraphone has four distinct features that separate its appearance from a xylophone or marimba. First, if we look at the bars on the vibraphone, we notice that they are metallic instead of wood. Second, you should notice that the accidental notes are the same height as the natural notes. Third, if you look right below the bars, just at the top of the resonators, you will notice little fans that are turned on and off and made faster or slower by a motor. Most vibe parts will indicate when the motor is used. If nothing is indicated in your part, then go ahead and play the vibes without the motor running. Finally, if we look toward the bottom of the instrument, you will notice that we have a pedal. Before we begin to play this instrument, we must first choose our mallets. This selection is usually going to consist of different grades of chord mallets. I will demonstrate the same passage with two mallets that differ in hardness. As you listen to the different mallets, be thinking about which mallets you would choose to play this passage. As a reminder, never use brass or plastic mallets on this instrument. After we select our mallets, the next important thing to know about the vibraphone is how and when to use the pedal. The pedal is used to release the bars from being dampened and adds length to the struck notes. Listen now as I play a scale with the pedal down. You will hear how all of the tones ring together. To stop the ringing of tones, I release the pedal. To stop a sustained tone without releasing the pedal, use your other mallet to dampen the sound by pressing the head of the mallet onto the bar. This technique will allow you to stop the sound of specific notes while the other tones ring through. Most of the time, the composer indicates what notes or phrases they want sustained, either by connecting a line over the notes or by writing the phrase pedal down. Every now and then, you must decide how to interpret a part. Make sure that your interpretation complements what you hear in the music. Remember that as you play quick two-mallet passages or very heavily scored four-mallet chords, it is perfectly acceptable and even necessary to play the accidental notes on the end of the bar. In this passage, you can see and hear how moving the accidentals to the end of the bar enables us to execute this phrase more easily than trying to play all the accidentals in the center of the bar. It is rare to roll on a vibraphone, but in the event a roll is needed, remember to use the single-stroke roll.
The bells are the quintessential keyboard instrument. Like the Special Forces soldier, only through failure are you revealed. This is the keyboard instrument that will see the most action. Inaccuracy is unacceptable. Perfection is the ultimate goal.
Watch and listen as our musician performs the most precarious bell part ever composed. Please give this performer your undivided attention. One mistake could cause this player great embarrassment and suffering, or even worse, prolong the rehearsal. Failure is not an option. We give you now the most infamous bell part from the concert band repertoire. Ladies and gentlemen, a B-flat octave. As you have just seen and heard, we went to great lengths to introduce the concert bells, which are sometimes referred to as the glockenspiel. We wanted to make the point that although practicing the larger keyboard instruments may be more fun, and although they allow for more solo literature, the majority of band and orchestral pieces will require you to spend most of your rehearsal time playing the bells. Let's discuss the mallets and techniques that you will use when performing on this instrument. You may use brass or plastic mallets depending upon the piece you are performing, and you may even decide to switch between these mallets for different tonal effects. I tend to use the brass mallets for a more articulate and metallic sound. Remember that your thumb and the first joint of your index finger serve as your fulcrum. Lightly wrap your remaining fingers around the shaft of the mallet, face your palms down, and make sure that both your hands look identical. Since the size of the bells is much smaller than the other keyboard instruments, strike both natural notes and accidental notes in the center of the bar. Rarely will you have to play an accidental note on the end of the bar. Make sure you allow the mallet to rebound after striking the bar. Here is a demonstration of where the mallet should be striking both accidental and natural notes. Remember that consistency in striking area translates into consistency of sound. Dampening on the bells can be performed by using your free hand to muffle the sound, or your forearm when numerous notes must be muffled. Rolling on the bells can be a little tricky because of the small size of the bars. Remember to use single strokes. You will have to practice not only the rolling method as described in the marimba section, but also the method of alternating your mallets so that each mallet will strike in the same spot as the previous mallet. The latter technique gives us just a slightly more consistent sound and can be used when rolling on a single bell note for a long period of time. If this method feels awkward to your hands, then return to the first method of rolling on the bars. Remember that you want to make your hands feel comfortable as they play. I will close the mallet portion of this video by performing the melody from the Stars and Stripes Forever, the Sousa march that we use to close our concerts.